Hello and welcome to Paints and Glitter. If you're able to see me and if you're watching the replay, my name is Raquel. I welcome you to my channel. And I am going to attempt once again to see if there's any possibility that I can see my own video. And then I'm going to see what the screen looks like, do a little bit of housekeeping here, and then wait for some friends to join in. So I see there is someone here. Hello, Tanya. Welcome. Tanya, I'm doing the repeat of what I typically do to try to find my video, and in the hopes that I'll be able to watch it and look at the chat. The last time that I did my live video, sure enough, I was not able to do that, so I'm gonna have to use YouTube signed out, which is interesting. Okay, so I'm just gonna look for my own channel here and pretend I'm a viewer. And then once I find it, then I'll be able to see the chat. So there's always one way to go about this, or a way to go about this. So bear with me. Just trying to type in here my channel name. And if the, here we go. Okay. If the, let's see here, if the chat, okay, hello Beverly, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now, apparently I have to sign out to be able to see my own videos. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do the whole zoomy thing here so that I can let you guys see my desk. And I think that's better, so let's see. You guys know that this is always a process. However, that's okay, right? It's a little messy, but that's what we do. Just don't want to make anyone dizzy. So, of course, to introduce the video, this is the first of the floral series. I'm going to try to do my best here, actually. I think if I fiddle with this, here we go. I can get a better view of my desk here. I have a particular setup, but it can always be changed. I think that's better, isn't it? You guys let me know. I think like that. Okay, so the first thing that that I want to get out of the way, of course, is that this is going to be the first of the floral series videos that I intend to do on this channel. What I want to do is just to have some fun. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, guys. I want to make sure that I just share some fun videos that anyone can follow along with, whether you're beginner or seasoned crafter. And it looks like I'm going to have to shimmy over this way a little bit. And not only that, but these are not going to be sponsored or brand specific. What I'm doing is just sharing with you what I have in my stash. I'm just like anybody else. We have what we like, we use it, and if we don't use it, we need to. So what I've done here is I just cut out some leaves, and I'm going to get right into it. By the way, in the description bar of the video, not in the chat, but the description bar, you're going to see this set here, which is what I'm using today. It happens to be from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and it's not a newer, it is not a new release. I want to clarify that. They just came out with one. Hello, Sapphire Manga. Thank you so much for being here. And let me know, I mean, I know I'm loud, but I think you guys can hear me okay. So I wanted to specify they just released a new collection of flowers, which is spectacular. I hope to get my hands on it. I just, quite honestly, did a little shopping for Christmas, and it could not justify getting a whole collection of flowers. So this is called Florals 25. And I think this came out in the fall, but I could be completely wrong. Anyway, it does have a total of 6 floral dies. If you really, I mean, you should definitely count the 2 little ones, I think, because you can do an entire card with small dies like that. Then it has, what I love about this is that it has matching flowers, but you of course don't have to use, what did I just say? I said flowers. It has matching leaves, but you don't have to use the leaves with the set. And I think you guys already know that. But I love the fact that these dies are very varied in size, so I like that. That's one feature I love about it, that you can get big flowers out of it, you can get little flowers out of it, you can get everything in between, and then also the, you know, the little accompaniment of the leaves there. The other thing is that you can really get a lot of detail out of them because they do allow you the space of embossing into the paper once you cut it out. So what I mean by that is, as you can see here already, and by the way, if you guys can click on my links, even if you don't shop absolutely at all, it is in the description bar of my video. Any single link that you can click on would do me well. It helps my channel, so I'm not going to be shy about asking. So that's the only thing I'm going to ask. Don't shop. You don't have to, but just click on a link. And that's going to be your contribution to me being here for a couple hours or 1 hour or whatever. So what I wanted to show you is that I already mentioned that you can get a lot of texture, and you can already see here, I got myself started. I was trying to be a good girl. And if you see there, see all of the texture that's on those petals? I did that with this nifty little tool here that I'm going to, of course, mention because I'm using it and I think it's wonderful. I have the regular, you know, ball tools. They come with the little tip like that in graduated sizes. But I did recently pick this up because the woman who designed this, I think she's pretty much, you know, I don't know. When it comes to crafters, oh my gosh, I admire her so much. Her name is Susan Tierney Cockburn. If you have not heard of her, you need to look into her work. She's a phenomenal designer. And of course, I have a bunch of these around here. These tweezers are wonderful for paper crafting. And in this collection that she designed here, she has created this little pouch, and now this is not new either. I'm just going to mention it for anyone who may watch the video who just doesn't know about it. What she did is that she included the foam pad, which is essential to flower crafting. Also the tool that I'm going to get into in a moment. A really nice pair of scissors. I haven't even touched them because your girl's got all the scissors in the world. I've got so many. But they look awesome, actually. I have to say. They really look nice and sharp. So be careful with them if you get a pair. And then she's included these tweezers that are phenomenal, okay? First of all, if you're in a pinch, you need to do your brows a little favor. I'm just kidding. They're super duper sharp. And the reason this is important is that sometimes you're going to have paper that you want to shape and you want to be super precise about it. And these are wonderful for that. Not only that, but she added a second pair. And then these are what we all know as reverse tweezers. Okay. They are known as that because you have to pinch them to actually, excuse me, let go of the paper. And that is, you know, I think also an essential when it comes to paper crafting. And then she also included all of these different tips. So just like the different tools, of course, that we all know about that you get in graduated sizes that I just mentioned, well, this one just has them kind of, you know, here, let me show you. It has these 3 sizes, so it's kind of, you know, a smaller set, if you will. This is not going to include the really big ones, but then it has these 2 here, and these are meant for shaping leaves, and I thought that was really clever. I had my eye on this for a while, and I thought, you know what? My other tools are, I think, older than my youngest son. That's how long I've had those. And it just goes to show, though, that if you do get something that's quality, it will last. So the other ones were my McGill. That's the other brand. So if you're out, you know, looking for tools, if you want to get the McGill, it comes in a little black pouch that's got like a neon green around it. My pouch has long since, you know, crossed the bridge into oblivion. In any case, that's a really good brand also. So it's not because of the brand that I got the tools, although I think there's something to be said about, you know, the designer creating the tools when she also creates a lot of dies. And if you're not familiar with her dies, you can get them from Spellbinders. She's designed for Tonic Studios. She's designed for a lot of different companies out there. I think Sizzix as well, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, she's got, you know, a good reputation. It came with this little sheet as well. And this is really great because this is one of those little, I think the material's called Teflon, if I'm not mistaken. And it's heat resistant, and then you can splatter on it. You know, this is your little messy sheet, if you will. And it also came with what looks to be at least cover stock grade watercolor paper. I don't know if you're intended to use this as a shim, maybe. I have no idea, because I wouldn't make the flowers out of that, but to each his own, right? Maybe you can make a little tag with that. I don't know. That's also, oh, no wonder, or no worries, I should say, Beverly. Anytime you can tune in from anywhere, you're welcome, honey. So I'm going to focus on this smaller tip here. I'll be using that. I'll be using the medium-sized one there. And I'm going to set everything else aside for the moment because I'm not going to get too technical on these flowers. I just wanted to mention all of what you get in that kit. And then as you can see here, I have my little media mat. And this is the one that goes with this glass mat. My words were not coming out. And it's wonderful because you can get super messy. Same thing. And then the difference is this one's sticky, and this one's from Tonic Studios, designed by Tim Holtz. And I'm going to mention that just in case, you know, you're thinking of getting anything like that. Then this one, you know, of course, I typically keep on my carrier sheet, and then I wipe it off when I'm done playing around with it. Now, I do have a little black cat, guys. Not to be, you know, talking about my personal life, but I do own a little black cat, and that darling little thing, her little black hairs get here and there. So if you ever see that in one of my videos, please forgive me. I cannot control every little strand. But here's where I'm gonna go with this. Every now and then I find one and I'm like, really? Not again? Okay, so, and yes, Beverly, I do hope that all is well. Let us know. Keep us abreast of how you're doing, darling. Okay, so as you can see here, I did color these larger petals with a dark pink in the center, and then it gets lighter as it gets closer to the edges of those petals. And it was super easy, nothing complicated. I am using Aqua Flow pens from Nuvo. These are by Tonic Studios. The first color I'm using is Cameo Pink. And of course, these have a nib and then a little barrel there that you can press. And because this is watercolor paper, it can handle the amount of water that you put on that. And then all I did was this, okay? So I'm pulling color from the center to the edge. That's it. Nothing complicated, and I didn't try to count how many little strokes or anything like that, nor was I trying to be perfect about it. I just did that. It looks like a little sun, so if you're brand new to this sort of thing, just pretend you're drawing a sun. And then I'm going to repeat that here. And now, again, this is heavy watercolor paper, so if you have watercolor card, I highly recommend it for this type of project because it's going to make a huge difference. if you use regular paper, what's going to end up happening whenever you add wet ink is that it's either going to bubble up on you or it's going to start tearing apart because it's not meant to carry that amount of water. And the other thing is that you can manipulate these papers really nicely without it tearing either. So you can see there, I wasn't too specific about the whole little center because quite honestly, I'm going to be layering these. And I'm going to do this one in the same fashion. Just very small there, okay? Then I followed that up with this color, which is Pink Lemonade. And all I did was to do the same little feathery strokes, is what you would call this, from the center out. Now, you might be concerned that, oh my gosh, maybe it dried too quickly. If that happens, don't worry. It's a water-based medium. I have a little bottle somewhere on this table. What did I do with my bottle? Okay. I know it exists. I'm not making it up. All right, somewhere in this world, there's a little bottle that's meant to be in that little corner, and it has water in it. Here it is. I found it. It was taking a nap. Okay, so you can kind of wake up the color by just spritzing water on it. So if you're ever worried about that, that's all you would have to do. That's all I wanted to show there. It's really nothing scientific, but it says water likes water. If you ever took chemistry in high school, then you might remember that. So I'm just doing the same thing here. And now what's cool about this is that you can batch make flowers, and all you have to remind yourself is that, you know, which colors first, which one's second, etc., etc. And then it's kind of mindless after that. So if you want to listen to a podcast, music, anything like that, that's what I tend to do. And it can be very therapeutic and very peaceful. Now you could certainly introduce a third color onto this. I will not be doing that today. What I did was that I just took another water pen, and this is a medium water brush from Nuvo. And all that's inside. I tried to get that nib really nice and wet because now I'm going to blend out from kind of the halfway point out, and it's almost like a little scrubbing motion because I'm trying to pull the ink out toward the edge of the paper, and that's why this being watercolor paper makes quite a difference. Okay, now the other thing I was going to mention is that if I'm making flowers and it just so happens my nib gets contaminated with one color and then another, unless I'm switching from, you know, flowers to leaves, I don't really do anything about it. It doesn't bother me if all of a sudden I have a little speck of yellow or orange on the same paper. To me, that just adds to it. So I'm not bothered by that whatsoever. Now, if you see there, that blended really nicely already. And that's exactly what I did here. Okay. But there is still the difference of that texture. And that's where you see the value of adding the texture to the paper. Now, you can immediately do that, but I'm going to continue on blending all of these. In fact, I'm going to help myself with that little spray that I mentioned. Just going to do all that just to make it a little bit quicker. And then I'm going to blend this out. And the same way that I'm blending out with just water, you can blend this with a third color, as I had mentioned before. You can use a shimmer pen. That makes it look absolutely fabulous also. I mean, there's so much, but again, I'm just going to keep this video really nice and simple because this is going to be the first in what I hope to be a series. And before I get ahead of myself, I wanted to mention that this is going to be a video series that I hope to publish once a month. Now, because life happens, because life is unpredictable, and because I have other projects coming my way, I cannot speak to the day of the month that my videos will go up. All I can say is click on the notification bell so that way you know when a new video goes up, and if I can pre-record it, I will. However, if I have too many projects all happening at once, like today, I just finished editing 2 videos and pictures and whatnot, then it's easier sometimes for me to go live, and that's why I decided to do this as a live video. And God willing, I will copy it and then re-release it. I like to do that for those of you who don't have, oopsie, the opportunity to watch a full video. Okay. And of course, if you enjoy this content, please share it. It would mean the world to me. Now, I'm just going to wipe this really quickly. See how easy that is to clean? So, if you want to, while this is still humid, now you can go ahead and take that tip that I was mentioning, and you can kind of experiment. See which texture do you like best. And this, what I was doing to switch these out is that you pull on that. It's like a little trigger. And then you can take this out, put it back in there. You can choose the distance here. I don't know why they designed it that way, but whatever. That's how it is. Maybe they were thinking about different types of paper needing less pressure. I don't know. But now what I did here was I was looking at the flower, and because it has so much texture here on the edge, then I figured, and let me zoom in, that the more texture there was on the edge, the more likely it would kind of call for a lot of these little grooves. Okay, so I think I started with 4 per petal here. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I did 4. Just keeping it simple. So that's what I'm gonna do. And if you see, I'm trying to kind of play with the shape that's already there instead of competing with it. Now, watercolor has a tendency to pull. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I don't think I did. So you're gonna get some variety here, but I love that. And the more wet your paper is, the easier it is to do this. So if you have arthritic hands or anything like that, you want a really damp paper. If not, you're going to find that the tool doesn't glide as easily, and that might cause you some discomfort. And if you find that the paper is a little bit too stubborn, just wet it again. Okay? So a little tiny mist. You don't need a ton of water, just enough to get that paper to be a little bit more easy to manipulate. La la la, my English doesn't want to come out today. All right, so if you only have 3 little lines on 1 petal, don't punish yourself for that. It's of no consequence. And I want to move in this direction. I apologize if I was out of frame. The white pad from the pouch. So, okay, I'm reading Sapphire Manga's comment. And I'm sorry. There's a word there that's blocked by a heart. You gotta love YouTube. I can't. If it doesn't block the entirety of the comments, it'll block half of it. So someone else type something in so I can see what that says, because I can't see it. Just type some little dots and hit enter. But what you're seeing me do here is that I'm simply pushing on the center here, and depending on how much I manipulate that, I'm going to get a stronger cupping there. But as you can tell, I did this on purpose because I didn't want too much volume on this. And the reason behind that is because I intend on using more layers. So I had it all planned out. So I'm going to have to take a second look at this. Okay, but I did want to use 3 of those. Maybe 4? Did I want 4 on that one? Because I have another one over here. I wanted to use 3. Yep. Okay, so I wanted to use these here. And I have a center. By the way, the center is created by this. You can also color. And I have some here that I had colored. Okay, so the white pad from the pouch is for you to do what you're doing now. The see-through. Oh, okay. So that little white pad, that's meant for shaping. See, now I feel like this one's easier. I don't know why. I really like the foam one. And the reason why is because in the past when I've done flowers, I've always done it on foam. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. Now here, I noticed, in fact, I was inspired by the packaging. I noticed that they use these as centers, doubled up, and I thought, oh yeah, definitely. So what I wanted to do was to place those in the middle here, and you may notice that the color is a little bit different in the center there, and what I did for that is, I'm just going to go ahead and use this because it is the perfect size. I'm going to use the yellow for that, and this is Mango Mimosa. And all I did was color the little pistils with that color there. And this is also thick. It's actually 110-pound card. Okay, and you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, didn't you just say that for watercolor paper you need water, or watercoloring you need watercolor paper? It actually depends on how much you're going to manipulate the paper and how much you intend to saturate it. So because this is a smaller portion, and I'm not going to be pressing on it really hard or anything like that, then I went ahead and just used 110-pound card, and then what I did is I colored the centers with olive, pressed olive, I'm sorry, is the name of this color. And that's it. That's all I did for that. Super simple. Now, what I'm going to do next is, now that I have this shaped as I like, and of course you can heat set this if you want to, but you don't have to. Because I want it to be, oh, is this on? It is. Okay, good. I want it to be nice and fluffy, right? For the grooves. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What I'm going to do is just place a little drop of hot glue in the center here. And this is because this paper is still a little wet. If I do wet adhesive, it's going to start sliding. So of course you probably already know that you want to stagger your petals. I'm just going to hold that for one moment. I'm going to have strings, so if you see me doing this, just pulling on the strings. Okay, now I'm going to do the next one. And I think I need some more glue. So those are two of the large ones. Here's the medium one. I'm going to stagger that there. And I like to use the ball tool just to hold on to that for a second. Get some more glue, 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 glue. I need to start buying stock in adhesive companies, seriously, like, all kidding aside. Boy, do we go through glue. Okay, so next little drop, and you can tell you don't need a whole lot here either. So here's the next one. I'm gonna press on that. And then these little guys, all I did was to go around the center and just press on it very lightly. As I had mentioned, I didn't want to manipulate that too much because it's really not necessary. And then here, I'm going to aim at the center. Hope you guys have all had a wonderful week. So yes, to answer your question, on this particular one, because I want it to be kind of flat and open, I did 2 large and then 2 medium for that one. And now I'm just going to do 2 centers so that it doesn't look too, you know, kind of skinny in the middle. I want it to be generous. Now, mind you, there's this other size, okay? So I forgot to mention that. There's a larger and a smaller center. Okay, so I probably should have used a larger one. In fact, I think I still can. I don't think that anything bad's going to happen there. Or maybe that was a large one. Let's see. It's looking... Yeah, it was a large one. It was 2 of the large centers. I forgot for a moment there because I moved everything around once I started the video, and it doesn't take much for me. Okay, so 2 of the large centers. So if you're making a little formula, it's large, large, medium, medium, large, large. Okay, and then let's use that tool again because I want to maintain that shape. Now, I saw someone comment regarding, oh, thank you, sweetie. I saw someone comment regarding flocking. Now would be a really good time to use that if you're going to, okay? I'm not going to do that in this video because I'm going to, you know, kind of ease into it, right? But you can definitely take these little pistils and just kind of play with them. Get them, you know, to move around for you. But it's a really delicate and pretty flower, I think. And of course, if you want to, where's that tweezer? That darling tweezer that I mentioned. You can definitely go around here, and you remember how we shaped this? You can do this, okay? Because it's really not that complicated. You can just play around with it. Twist the paper around here and there, and don't twist it always in the same direction. Just kind of hold the paper. And now some people may find this to be fastidious. I find it to be fun because of the result that you get. And you're gonna see how all of a sudden these little waves in the paper. Now what I'm doing, just to show you, is I'm allowing that tweezer to pinch that paper, and I'm twisting it away from me. And then the next little groove that I made, I'm twisting it toward me, but I am holding that paper down. So I'm just going to keep repeating that. And what's cool about these tweezers is that they kind of help you out. I don't know how else to explain that. Okay, so if you like that layer like so, and you want to stop there, you can. If not, you can continue with the next one behind it. And it's just going to be a back and forth motion. And again, this kind of becomes mindless after a little while, because if you get yourself used to doing it, you don't really have to focus too much, because then you're just thinking, oh, okay, left, right, left. And this paper has not dried fully, and I was out of focus, wasn't I? Sorry about that. Oh, thank you so much, Lasagna. I so appreciate you, sweetie. I know you're busy. You're like doing so much, and you still find time to be supportive, and I so appreciate that. And by the way, guys, if you have not seen Lasagna's channel, and she is MS Dolls, she just got here. Oh my goodness. She made some boxes for her coworkers, and can I just say, I would kiss you if you ever gave me something like that. If we were coworkers and you showed up with a box like that for me, oh wow. How sweet. She made them in all different designs, and they're so gorgeous. Of course, of course, of course, my favorite was the Chanel one. Now I have to say, this morning I was watching the YouTube live from Tonic. However, I was working, so I couldn't even say hi. But I saw the pictures. Oh my word. And you know I'm gonna have to go back and leave you a comment, because absolutely, it was just absolutely gorgeous. So guys, if you haven't seen them, and if you're not part of the Tonic Studios Facebook group, there is an official group that you can join, and it's for people who like to share their projects, you know, support each other, ask questions about all the crafty things. And of course, you know, it is focused on Tonic Studios product, but there's just a bunch of really friendly people there, and I would love to see you guys join if you haven't already. So now, when this gets to the larger petals, you may find yourself wanting to use more of the tweezer surface to shape it, okay? Whereas up here, maybe you started off with just the tip of that. Down here, it may be easier for you to manipulate that petal if you really allow that tweezer to go all the way, kind of almost to the center, not quite, because it's kind of like pleating fabric. That's what I'm going to compare it to. Oopsie, I have two at a time. I meant to only grab one. Okay, so let's just say you're ironing a skirt, right? The thicker the fabric, the stronger the steam. So the same applies here for watercolor paper. The thicker the paper, or the larger the piece of paper, the more force you need to create dimension. But girl, tell me you don't like that. Tell me you don't like that flower. Isn't that cute? I'm so proud of myself. But I'm not going to let my head get big. Let's move on to the next one. So using that same argument, here's what I'm going to do with this one. I'm just going to do all that topsy-turvy first, right? That way it's easier for you to see. And I'm doing the same motion back and forth, and my husband's home. It's okay. You live here. You get to say hi.
Oh, I thought you were doing
I am doing a...
You're doing a live?
I'm doing a live.
Hi, everybody.
My husband says hi, ladies.
Not a camera.
Hi. How was your day? Good?
It was good. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Gonna make a steak salad later tonight.
Whoa, that sounds awesome.
Yep, just like I did that other one the other day.
Sounds
Not spicy,
good.
but with
All right. I'm on a live. Ciao. I don't want to think about food right now. Okay, so back and forth. That was a commercial break. He's got steak on the mind. And you know what, guys? We've had such unseasonably warm weather that I think that's why we're kind of been doing like barbecue every other day type situation. Actually, lately we've really gotten into Korean barbecue. Oh my gosh. I need to like take it easy. Oh, you're very welcome, Lasagna. Very welcome. But I have to appreciate it, right? Because it could have been McDonald's. So. case, it would have been, get away. All right, so I did all of the little, you know, topsy-turvy on that. And in fact, I have another one over here I forgot about. So, okay, so this one's going to be a medium and then 2 small ones and one of these little tiny ones. Okay, so for this one, it's up to you. I really like to have texture on the petals. I think it makes a world of difference. And especially if you're making a card or a gift for someone and you go the extra mile of adding the texture to everything, you know, I think it makes a big difference. Now, if you are a first-time viewer, I am going to be filling, remember the little box? Well, you wouldn't remember this if you're a first-time viewer, but I did make the little box. I finished it. Put the little birdie on there and the little flowers and a bunch of drops. I cut, in fact, if you were to touch this, it's all textured now because it's got drops on every single one of those little crosses and on, you know, just about every flower there and everything. So I also added a little tag and I put little Nuvo drops on there, you know, can't be chintzy. So once I finish, you know, flower 1 is going to go in there with its little friends, you know, I'm going to make sure that I fill it, okay? I'm not going to be cheap because, you know, you want to win something that's worthwhile, right? And what is the worthwhile is that I'm going to ask you to share my channel so that it grows. That's it. You know, just share my channel on social media. I'm trying to get 5,000 subscribers. Because I've been on social media for a long time, and it seems like sometimes, you know, you just have to ask for help. Just have to humble yourself and ask for help. But in all seriousness, if you enjoy the content, just share it with your friends. And then once we get to that number, somebody's going to take home a box full of flowers. And I don't think that's half bad. It may be lagging. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope it's just the internet. I hope it's not my actual stream. Okay, so here I have a large and a small center. I'm going to do the same thing, just pressing there in the middle. I had already colored them. You guys saw me do that. And now it's going to be medium. And of course I had already colored most of these. And small. I'm going to stagger that one. And I said I didn't want too much volume, but in all honesty, if you want to flatten these back out, I mean, you kind of can. Kind of. And I don't know if I like that big one on there. I don't think I do. I don't know. You guys can tell me. Should I leave that big one behind it? I don't think it's horrible, but you guys can let me know. Or I could just leave that for whoever receives it can decide. Because it's, you know, not a crime to leave an extra little petal on there. All right, so, ooh, I meant to stagger that. Okay, so it's not perfection, but now here, I have the option of using this like so. But I think what I'm going to do, actually, to make it a little bit tighter in the center, I'm going to flip it upside down. This is the larger one. And I'm really going to concentrate on moving this in a circle right in the center there. And now I'm pressing really hard. Okay. Just like that. So if you see the difference there, how much it cupped, I think you guys can see that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because I didn't color both sides, that's all. But if you were using double-sided paper and it's the same color on both sides, you don't have to worry. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This one I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave like that. Okay, here we go. Because this I did color on that side. So this one has the color on the inside. This one has the color on the outside. Because this is gonna, the smaller one's gonna go right in the middle of that. Okay. For that I can just use liquid glue. Yes, you're absolutely right. Every little share does count. Which is why, I mean, you often hear YouTubers say that, and it can kind of get, you know, just like anything else. You hear it so many times that you become numb to it, and you're like, well, what's the big deal? I did it last week or whatever. But YouTube works on what's called an algorithm. So it's all about numbers, guys. And so if you do have a favorite YouTuber or a favorite channel, or just a channel that you want to be nice to, you know, sharing the videos does make a big difference. It lets YouTube know that you're engaging with the channel. So that's why the thumbs up matters and all that good stuff too. And my glue, I think, got a little bit cold. There we go. Came back to life. All right, now make use of those tools because it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. All right, just pick that up and I put it in there as if it was a little cup. Okay. And this is what I meant, like you can use these tiny ones on their own on a card and they would be fabulous. Super, super pretty. And now I'm going to add liquid glue. I'm using the Nuvo and then placing that in here. And it's going to give me a completely different look. Okay. Now, not all of the flowers that I make in these videos are going to be the same. Okay, so if this is not up, you know, your taste, don't worry. I'm going to be making different ones. Okay, so there's a difference already. I'm going to set those aside, and the next one, and then I'm going to color. Excuse me. The next one that I'm going to color, because it's a smaller flower, I decided to color in the center with yellow, and this is Mango Mimosa, just in the center there. And then on the outside, I did follow that up with Pink Lemonade. And pink and yellow always look really, really pretty together. So I just did that. Then I followed it through with the water pen. And this time I tried to kind of blend it from the outside in because I didn't want to get rid of any of that yellow. So I didn't really want to introduce the pink into the yellow, if you know what I mean. Just doing that. I hope I'm not out of frame. Okay. Just like so, okay? And if it isn't perfect, you're not making a, you know, Picasso. It's just a flower. So while it's still wet, you're gonna do the same thing. Now here, you may want to switch tools because this one's gonna be too large, and that's where this other one can come in. It's gonna do the same function, only this one is better for smaller spaces. That's the only difference there. So this is still wet, perfect time to do the little striation on here. How much or how little is up to you. Okay. And then in the center, I guess, well, I am going to be using that next. Because you can decide to leave the tool in there, but I am going to be using the other one next, so I'm going to leave that. So in the center, whoopsie, got to remember to lock it. There we go. There's just a little press, that's all. Okay. So now I'm going to do place the darkest one on top and then the lighter ones behind it. So these just had a little bit more water. That's the only difference between those and this one here. So you can go super light if you want to. I'm going to do the little drop. Stagger the petals. Now if it moves too quickly, I take it right back off. And watercolor paper is nice and thick, so if it tears a little bit, it's okay. I am just trying to do the tiniest little drop of adhesive, but there we go. And then pressure on that. And then I'm going to take advantage of that and just fluff this up a little bit, just by kind of pulling on those. Okay, so that's nicely cupped now. You see the texture there. And on here, I can also take one of these centers, my glue string, pull it off. And here, I can just do it in yellow instead of adding the green. So be nice and vibrant. I'm going to press it and then go in the circle as I did before. I just move my hand kind of counterclockwise, and it seems to be comfortable. Then place your adhesive on the bottom. And voila, there's that one. Okay, so we've got 3 flowers. That's the little bunch that I'll be making today. However, they need a little companion, and I already started. So this is one of the leaves, and I love the size. So you see how pretty that looks with that? It's so, so sweet. Then here's the second style of leaf that comes with the set. And then there's a smaller one. So I decided to include all 3, of course, because then I think that little tiny one looks so darling right on that little branch. Let me move over this way. And then this one down here. Now, if you can tell, it doesn't matter if you don't color them. If this is what you like, you stop there, because it depends on what it is that you're making. You can totally do this with vellum instead. That'll give you a different look. You can do the leaves with pearlescent paper. So if you happen to have any of, for instance, the Tonic Studios pearlescent paper, if you've seen that, which I've used in many projects, then you'll know it's got this beautiful shiny finish, and then you don't have to introduce color. But for the sake of this tutorial, because I'm doing the whole watercolor thing, then I decided let's continue that with the leaves, and I'm going to show you how I did that on these 2. So here I'm introducing first, to keep it light, the clear water is the color that I decided to use here on the center of the leaf. I'm going to show you this one first, because it's most similar to that other one. And this does emboss the little veins right into the leaf. So I just followed the little veins that are right on there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing over here. This does have that embossing right on there. Okay, just as simple as that. And then on the stem, because I don't want the stem to be overly dark in this case. And now with the pressed olive, I can go back in and I'm going to introduce this color going from the edge and toward the center of the leaf. And again, the same as I did with that little flower, because I wanted to introduce the color but still keep it kind of light in the center. That's why I'm applying the color like this. Okay, and if you do want to blend it in, you can. I'm going to do the same thing here. I have to press this a little bit because I need a little bit more. Now, if you don't have this type of pen and you want to do this with distress inks, by all means, those are wonderful. I happen to have quite a few of them, and I enjoy those too. So here, no rhyme or reason, just, you know, can place your color on there. And you can tell this is much more saturated, but that's okay because I'm using watercolor paper, so I'm not afraid of it pooling like that. I actually would encourage it because once this starts drying, those little pebbles that you created there of water droplets are really wonderful because then you can reintroduce the paper again. And in fact, I'll show you here. This is already dry. So now I can reintroduce some of the little leaves like so. Just drop it in there, kind of tap it, and then I'm going to get some really pretty texture on that leaf. It'll look a little bit more natural. And there, of course, are stamps available that will allow you to do that, but that's all it takes is a little bit of a droplet here and there. Okay, and then of course, if you want to shape these, you can. And that's what that other tools side was for. It just has that little loop, and I kind of tilted it to the side, and then it just allows you to get kind of a deeper vein in that paper. And this is of course completely optional. I just figured I should share it, and then you get a more cupped leaf like that. So let me know if you're still here. Let me know if everything's okay on your end. I hope that my stream has not disconnected in any way. But I'm just going to do the same texture on these just by pulling this kind of toward the center. Now, this has a lot of pooling of ink, but it's okay to shape it while it's still kind of wet. And if you want it to be dry, just take that same little mat and you can just heat it. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to hold on to this little leaf while I do that. So bear with. You're gonna notice the difference in the color between one and the other. Okay. So here's the one that I just colored. Now, do you see how the color is much more intense? I allowed that olive to pool on there, but what's really fun about this is that because it didn't color all of the little edges, you see some of that white peeking through, and I think it makes it look like a watercolor painting, which I think is so darling. So now that we have our three little flowers and our little branches or stems, I'm gonna call them, well, they're not either. They're just leaves. You can do a grouping, an entire grouping like this if you want to, or it's really up to you. I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down because I'm going to do this again. In fact, I did cut twice the amount. even though I'm just going to show it to you guys once. And then I'll take pictures and show you guys, you know, what the end result is. But I'm going to go ahead and adhere these. Just a little bit of adhesive there. But now, for instance, if you were doing this, you know, depending on the occasion, you could stick a safety pin, not a safety pin, but those little, I don't know what they're called, the little pins on the back. And think of that for Mother's Day, for maybe an event at a church or something like that. All the moms could have one of these little flowers to wear. That would be so pretty. Or maybe you're hosting a get-together of, you know, ladies. And you can gift these as a little keepsake on a card. Okay, oopsie. I think I need... My paper might be a little bit humid still. And I meant the flower, not the leaf, because I did dry that. Okay, so because I'm squeezing this, I am going to take these tweezers and kind of be very gentle here. Again, because this paper, the one in the center there, was just regular cardstock, I don't want it to tear. So I'm going to be very gentle as I pull those right back up and kind of wake this flower up again. Okay. And here I can kind of just manipulate that with my hands. Get all those little guys moving again. So pretty. Now, there's another option here. I can keep going. And the one thing that I would do on this grouping... Hello, Joanna. Happy New Year, and thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining us. You can add a little glitz, right? A little glitz, a little glamour to the little flowers. Why not? I meant this channel is Paints and Glitter, right? No, I'm not gonna get gaudy because this is it's meant to be a soft watercolor look, but I do have some sparkle spray here, and this is in cream gold. It happens to be my favorite. I love this color, and I thought a little sprinkle would be sufficient of this. So I'm just gonna tap on this just like that. Let it fall here and there. Not a lot, but you'll be able to see it in a moment. I'm going to dry it because I don't want it to move. And this isn't the type of thing that would get all over unless you really went crazy. But I seldom use the spray portion of that, or the, you know, that little tip. I more often than not either use a paintbrush or just the technique I just did now. But that's another thing. I mean, you guys can let me know. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you would like me to do a flower with a whole lot of shine, because I'd be happy to do that. But this completes this little grouping of flowers. And the next one that I do, which I'll do off camera, that way these videos are not too long. I'm going to repeat the same steps. They're not going to look identical, of course, because of the fact that this is a very kind of organic process when you add watercolor to paper. It never pools the same way twice, but I really think that these are absolutely darling. And that little tiny touch of gold, I think, is just sufficient. Now, of course, when you get these, whoever wins them, you can add little pearls in the center if you want to. You can add micro beads. In fact, should I do that on the small one? Do you guys want to see gold micro beads on the small one? Because I could add it to the little one. Or I mean, I could add it to all three. Maybe you guys decide. You tell me. Do you guys want me to put little gold micro beads in the center of these, or would that be too much? Because I was going for a real kind of airy, natural look. I didn't want to copy the cover verbatim because that's someone else's interpretation of this flower, and I like to do me. I don't know. Go for it. I like you, Tanya. You're not afraid. All right, let's do it. I like to be girly girly. Speaking of girly girly, guys, there's a project coming. What's today's date? The 12th? Okay, so if you don't know this, last month was a crazy month at Tonic Studios. Oh my gosh, there was so much going on. And the entire design team was working a lot, right? So they were so nice that they kind of gave us January to be a little more breathing room. So normally at Tonic Studios, the first week of the month, between the first and second week of the month, they release the showcase die set. This particular month of January, they pushed it out. So it's actually coming out let's see here, toward the end of the month. So okay, so I have one with and one without. I need another vote to break the tie. I have 5 people watching. It's a bit busy evening. So Tanya's telling me no gold Tanya's telling me gold beads and Joanna's telling me no gold. So I need one more vote. Now, mind you, I can keep these and make them again for, for the ones I'm giving away. In fact, here's the stack. I am going to be making them again. So it's not going to be a big deal. So I can keep the ones with the gold beads or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. So I've at least got one more leaf started there. But in any case, what I wanted to say was the showcase die is fantabulous. And the only hint I'm going to give is if you like girly stuff, come watch my video. No gold. Okay. All right. So they're going to stay without the gold. All right. And then these will be the ones that are included in the giveaway. I hope someone is excited about my giveaway. Now mind you, this is a series, so I'm giving it time to see, how long is it going to take for, for my goal to be reached. Now, because I piqued your curiosity, however, let's just go ahead and make one with the little gold in the center, because that would be cruel if I didn't. So I'm just going to do this one. Same colors again, no big deal, right? So let's look at our little formula. I did medium, small, small, medium, small, small. Oh, maybe I'm gonna do a different size. Yeah, I don't know. Something tells me I didn't mean to do these sizes, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. No big deal. Let's do these sizes. Yes, absolutely. I will do one of each. Okay. So that way, I mean, I know we're a small little group of people here, but in case someone else pops in, get to see how this is not anything complicated or difficult. I feel like a little kindergartner coloring like this, in fact. It's like, aim at the center, maybe not, whatever, just do what you want. But I know that this is that size, and I don't know why. I may end up having to cut more, but I could have sworn I counted the pieces. Nothing ever goes the same way twice in this room. Ever, ever, ever. Just doesn't happen. All right. I need to find one more this size, though. for sure. Or maybe I could just do whatever. Let's just do this. Okay. We'll do that. Do the lighter pink. And this is aiming toward the middle. Now I'm going to try to work a little bit faster. Just a little bit. And you can tell, I mean, I'm being messy, but then again, I'm not giving these away, okay? So don't be worried. I'm being super messy here. But honestly, I don't think it's going to make a ton of difference. I'm going to avail myself of a little bit of spritz of water here, just to make things move a little bit faster. There. And use that brush to kind of just move things around. And these might end up being a little bit lighter, but I'm okay with that. And I will dry them. But the that heat gun gets pretty hot, so it won't take too long. Okay. But if you're timing me, then you'll get to see how long it actually takes to do these if you're not being super duper careful. Okay, because again, if you let that water pool on there, you're going to get a little bit of a different effect, and I love the way that that looks. And I can't forget the centers. So let's do the centers. And I'm going to do a medium one and a small one. Let's do the yellow. I did put it in the center, didn't I? I meant to do that on the edges, but that's okay. The by the way, adding the green in the middle here, you may think like, okay, what's the point? Why would you add green? It does actually deepen the color there. Oh, well, happy birthday, Tanya. Oh, I'm so sorry. As far as the giveaway, what I decided was that if it's an international winner, what I'll do is a gift card toward Tonic Studios. I think that would be fair. Okay? So don't worry, Tanya. All right? Because I very much appreciate everybody. Absolutely. So the green there does add some depth of color. It makes it look a little bit more realistic, I think. So here I'm going to just very quickly, I'm not changing the tip. I'm just going to use this one for the sake of moving a little bit faster. And you can tell I'm not being super duper delicate with it because I'm okay with the texture. Okay. And here I might have to switch it out because it is a little bit too much. But that's easy. Easy peasy. Okay. Switching for this one. Okay, last one there. All right, and then I'll do the centers. Yeah, I'm not going to be limiting it because the flowers are going to go to a US subscriber. And that's only because of the shipping fees. They've gotten so astronomical that it's just ridiculous. Our US Postal Service, you gotta love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the little wave, and I'm gonna try to move fast. Don't want to keep you guys too long. But again, this is back and forth here. And it is a little bit easier if you have not adhered the flower together. So if you needed a little inside tip, do it while the petals are nice and wet and while they're separate. Okay, there's that one. 2 more to go. Now, leave me a comment also and let me know how many of you make flowers of your own. Because I saw in the previous video where I made the little box, someone said that she likes to keep her flowers in one of the little photo boxes, which I like to do as well. I love using these, by the way. These little boxes that you can get, and these fit in a larger one. If you can tell there, when I'm doing projects, if I have any leftover bits and pieces, they go in here. But I do love using those to house, you know, the little petals and things like that. And then while I'm working on the actual project, typically what I do is I have a tray here, and I try to separate them if I can. That way I can, you know, easily access the flowers. I'm gonna have to do this one. There we go, just like that. And this one in the same fashion, because I don't know if I use the same paper there. Not 100% sure. Okay, I'm just gonna press these. Press that one. Okay. Get our clue. Oh, wonderful. Yes, Tanya, it's insane. Sometimes, you know what? This has happened to me where the shipping has been more expensive than the actual item. Like, oh well. There goes that. That's crazy. I'm like, well, could you at least not kick the box when you're delivering it? I mean, if it came with that guarantee, it might be worth it. But I'm like, oh, I've told this story, you know, more than once here, where I've literally told my mailman, hey, can you make sure it's still got a little bit of life left in it? Because I'm like, you're killing that box. They try to shove it in the mailbox when it clearly does not fit. Oh, they're special kind. That's all I'm gonna say. They're special kind of special. Oh, but I don't know. There's a comedian whose stand-up comedy I saw one, well, more than once I've seen it on, it was by coincidence on a channel called Dry Bar Comedy. Now, the only reason I bring that up is because it's clean comedy, and that's the only comedy that I enjoy. I don't enjoy crass jokes or anything like that. And on that channel, I guess it's because it's based in Utah, then they allow comedians to come in and they, of course, you know, publish this stuff. And there's only clean comedy, but this guy, he did this whole bit. I wish I could remember his name. And it had to do with the post office, and oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. It's like one of those belly aches you get from laughing so hard that is so worth it. Okay. All right, so this is the look I was going for with this flower. I don't know what I guess I mistook one petal for the other, but this is how I wanted that to look. But I don't think, you know, no crimes committed. Okay, so now to do the little seed beads, which are, they happen to be in gold. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a little drop of hot glue there. However, I do need a little way to catch the beads that fall out. And let's see here. I'm going to take a piece of copy paper. Bear with me, I'll be right back. Oopsie, close that a little too hard. I'm just going to fold this in half because I need a valley. I don't want these little guys flying everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to set that there. And I'm going to get myself ready with a little spoon. I'm going to place my little drop of glue. And the idea here is that I want the dome. So I'm going to be very, very, very careful. I do have a little string, but I'm going to just pull that off. Let this kind of get as round as possible. So hot glue, I mean, I know it dries quickly, but it does have a minute there. And then I'm just going to drop as many of those as possible. Give it a moment, let it do its thing. And I hope my video is not too dark. You guys let me know. Of course, it's a little late in the game, but I feel like it suddenly got so dark. Okay, and then I'm gonna just empty these back out if I can, back in here. And then, so that those little beads don't look so lonely. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Tanya. I love the beads. I don't think it's too much, and I'll tell you why. These are gold beads, but they are so tiny that you really have to be paying attention to even see them, I think. I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm tilting it so that the light hits it. But if you see that, they're very delicate. So here's the one without. You see, I don't think it's too gaudy. It's not the kind of bead that's kind of, you know, in your face or anything like that. But I'm going to take a little drop of this gold sparkle spray. I'm always changing its name. And I'm going to take a brush. And this one has a nice thin tip. This is one of the Tonic Studios brushes. It's wonderful for watercoloring, and that's exactly how you want to, you know, treat this. I'm just going to go in and color the tips of the little stamens. And I might do that on the other ones too, because I think this is going to set this apart a little bit. And this is not an antique gold. It's not a really dark greenish gold, but if it were, I think it would still look good because of the fact that it's going on the center of a flower. And that's just adding a little bit of sparkle there. I don't think you'll be able to see that in the video, but I'll try to capture that in a photo if I'm able to. And I am going to just tiny add a little bit of that to those stamens. I think it's worth it. And as you can tell, I mean, this product goes a long way because of the fact that there's, I don't know how many milliliters in there, but okay, so it's 1 ounce, but there's so little that you even use for this type of thing. And as I did before, I just did the little droplets on there. I think it's so worth it. So it's, you know, very delicate finish, but with a little tiny touch of sparkle. Because as I said before, I have to do, you know, I have to add my personal touch to things, right? And it's not a whole ton either. You don't have to do every single little stamen, but oh, I think it's so pretty. All right, so just a little tiny bit. Just so that way when the light hits it, you get that tiny little bit of glimmer. And that's it. That's what was left on that brush. And that completes our little project. Little flower cluster there. These 3 little guys. And then this one with the little beads. And this one's going to have its own little leaf as well. I'll finish this off camera, however. But I think they're so pretty. Now, don't forget that depending on how many petals you use, of course, you can already see the difference there. You can get a different look with these flowers. I am going to, yes, it is. It's very subtle. Oh, wonderful. So now you won't be afraid to do them. Yeah, that's the whole idea behind this channel. I want to inspire people to lose their fear of crafting and getting messy and just having some fun. As you can tell, I mean, the wet, I almost was going to say ingredients, but I guess you could call it that. What I used today was this kind of rainbow of colors. Just to kind of recap, Aquaflow pens are a less messy way to do watercolor because you really can control how much is on your table at any given time. But if you don't fear messy, by all means, you can use the same kind of water brush I shared here and just do the color, and maybe I'll do that on a separate video, to do the ink on your glass mat and then just pick up the colors as you go and do the same thing. These pens are very saturated in color. That's what I like about them. As you could see, again, the product a little bit goes a long way because you don't need to use so much. I could have gone darker with that. However, you don't have to. And the other thing is that if you want to combine, let's just say you can't afford to get all of the pens, okay? Because this is just be real about it. If you get maybe 1 or 2 colors that you like that work with the inks that maybe you already have that are water-based, that's what I would recommend. Look at your stash. Take a peek at what you have. For instance, I know that I have fossilized amber, you know, distress ink. So then maybe I'll pick up something in the yellow family that's similar or a little bit darker, okay? Lighter or darker. So for instance, I have tattered rose ink, then maybe I want to do that go a little bit darker with that, right? Because if you layer these types of inks, you don't necessarily get a deeper color because the ink in and of itself is not it's not a dark color. I don't know how else to explain that. I think you guys understand me though, but that's what I would recommend. Try to get something that complements what you already own when you're building your stash of products, and it'll go a long way. But I can definitely attest to the fact that they work. I mean, they're really helpful. You guys saw me color these. This was super easy to make. And then if you want to, the same way that I use this sparkle spray to give it that little kind of droplets and that, you can do the same with a different color of pen. So for instance, and just take the little green and just kind of, you know, dab it on there like that, the same way, and get a different look on the flowers. So don't be afraid to experiment. If you want to. Bonnie, thank you for being here, sweetie. Thank you for saying that. Um, this is going to be part of a giveaway, Bonnie. So I'm just asking people to share the videos, give a thumbs up, subscribe, you know, all the good stuff. And then once we reach 5,000 subscribers on this channel, then this will be part of that giveaway along with a box. Now, I am going to leave that as an option at the discretion of the winner. If this is not your style, I will not be offended. I can do a different style box. That's no big deal to me. Because you guys know I have the supplies, right? So, so yeah, that's all I'm asking. And so I'm just teaching different floral techniques. It's going to be, God willing, all of this year. And I'm hoping to bring you a video monthly, so long as I can, of course, you know, fit it into the schedule that I have. And I cannot promise you that it's going to be like, oh, you know, every first Monday or whatever. I just can't do that. It doesn't work for me. But that's why you want to click on the notification bell, because if I do go live, then you'll be able to know. And if not, then it'll be pre-recorded and it'll just have the same title, that it's going to be the Floral Garden series. And yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for having been here with me. I hope you guys have a really blessed weekend. And I hope that you can, you know, just be inspired and be blessed, is what I always say. And I mean it. All right, come back for the next one, guys. Take care. I'm going to cover now, you know, do all the things to say goodbye. Bye.